Have you ever seen a YouTuber track a text to a person's head, a dog, or a car, and have asked yourself, how the heck did they do that? Okay, so I'm going to show you exactly how to do it in DaVinci Resolve, which is what you see right here. If you don't have this software, you can install it for free if you want to follow along, but you do not need to pay for the full studio version. You don't need that. So after you open Resolve, grab a piece of footage that has a moving object, but make sure that the shot is not too complicated. This one is a side view of a person walking down the street. And so once you have your piece of footage, go ahead and open it in the Fusion page. The tool we are going to use is called Tracker. It is not in the toolbar by default though, so we do have to search for it. And to do that, you will press Shift and Spacebar at the same time and then search Tracker, press Enter, and it will automatically show up in between the Media In 1 and Media Out 1 node. Just make sure that Media In 1 node is selected. Now that we have the Tracker 1 node there and selected, what we can do is drag a text onto the node area. And now you can connect that text to the tracker via the foreground input, which is going to be the green arrow. So make sure that Media In 1 node is connected to the yellow arrow, which is the background input. If you're confused about what I just said, just be sure to mirror exactly what you see on the screen. Now that we have the text connected to the foreground input of the tracker, what we can do is set our tracking point on the person or whatever object that we are going to do. You will see this green outline right here, and this is going to be your tracking point, this part in the middle. And to move it around, you will click on this square, and this will allow you to select whatever part of the object you want to track. In this case, I want to track his headphones, so I'm going to put it right in the middle of that. And now I will zoom out to fit it to screen. And then what you want to do is go into the inspector. Make sure you're in the Trackers tab, go down to the Adaptive Mode dropdown, and then click on Best Match. Next, you want to go to the Operation tab, go down to the Operation dropdown, and then click on Match Move. And what this does is allow the text to follow the exact move of the object that you are trying to track. Now go back to the Trackers tab, and then click on this icon. It says track forward from current time. It's a right arrow on top of a halfway shaded line right next to the stop button. Go ahead and click on that and it will track forward. And then it will stop when it reaches the end of the clip. You will see a series of white dashes on the timeline ruler, and that means that this portion of the clip is tracked. Now go to the frame left of the first tracking point. Now click on the button with a left arrow in the middle of a halfway shaded line to the closest left of the stop button. This button tracks the tracking point backward and will stop when it reaches the beginning of the clip. So congratulations, you just tracked your object. As you can see, the text is moving along with my object, my subject. It's really cool, right? I think it's really awesome, and it's the easiest way to track anything on your footage. Now, this tracker node works best when you choose Best Match under Adaptive Mode, and also when you choose Match Move under Operation, and also when the footage is very simple to watch or match, when it has a lot of simplicity to it, when there's no complicated movement. This is a simple shot because it's more static, but it's still moving. If there was a bunch of other stuff going around or things popping up in the foreground in front of my subject, it would be a lot harder to track this. With that being said, your tracking point may have wigged out or lost track of the object, and so there's a few possibilities of how that happened. Number one, the image is too dark. Number two, there's not enough contrast. Number three, another object got in the way. So identify what the problem is. Either one, you need to brighten your image. Number two, you have to find a different spot on the object to track, preferably one with good contrast. Or three, track a different object in the same clip, or use a different clip where nothing gets in the way of the object you want to track. Now, sometimes there's nothing wrong with the footage at all, and the tracker just doesn't work properly because technology tends to have bugs and doesn't want to work. So if neither of those issues occur and the tracker just loses the object, then reset the tracker and try again. And it's really as easy as clicking the reset button and repeating those steps that I mentioned. Let me show you. This icon right here is the reset button, so go ahead and click on that. So it obviously resets everything about the tracker node that you had set. So you're going to have to put your tracking point back onto the spot that you had it or on a different spot. And then you got to go back to adaptive mode and click on best match, go into operation, and then go to the drop down and click on match move, go back to the trackers tab. And now we can track forward and then track backward by clicking on this button first, the track forward from current time. Give it a few seconds and then it will stop automatically when it reaches the end. And then go to the first frame before the first keyframe, and you will make sure you're at the right one when this icon is gray, not red, okay? And then track it backward using this button right here. And then it will stop when it reaches the beginning of the clip, and then it will say render completed, and then you press OK, and now it will hopefully be working the right way, just how you want it to be. In my case, it is working. The text is moving, it's up and down and moving along with the person walking. And keep in mind that you can move the text into whatever position you want it to be, and it will keep that move. So I can move it in the top right corner here, and it will follow that move just the same way. And I can, move it to the left if I want to, and I can scale it down. I can manipulate the text however I want, and it will keep the move the same. Really, really cool how it does this. And by the way, this is done using the DaVinci Resolve AI neural engine. If you are confused about anything that I went over, then be sure to ask me a question in the comments section down below. I'm sure somebody else has that same question, so you're helping them out too. And I read all of the questions and will be sure to answer to the best of my ability. And if you have any friends or family that want to learn this, be sure to share it with them too so that they can learn it alongside you. And remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel so that I can keep on making these tutorials in the future. And without further ado, I will see you guys next time.